in honor of you being named to say County Coach of the Year, PVTV and me decided that we should interview you. And obviously, I'm part of both your teams, so I really wanted to do it. So if you just want to introduce yourself first.
Hi, I'm Coach Demsey, and I coach field hockey at Passaic Valley.
Growing up, what sports did you play?
I actually started off as an equestrian horseback rider. I used to show jump. I used to do that, but then it got really, really expensive. So then my parents are like, okay, you're going to do, a local league. So I started off playing soccer in a boys league. Now this was 30 years ago, and they didn't even have leagues for females back then. So I had to play with the boys. I was really good at soccer. I really enjoyed it. So I played soccer when I was really young. And then when I got to high school, they didn't have a female soccer team. So I played field hockey, basketball, and softball in high school.
And then at college, which college did you attend and did you play sports?
I attended Montclair State and I played field hockey. And since I couldn't play softball, I was really good at softball. I wanted to play field hockey and softball. The coach was like, no, you have to play softball all year round. And I'm like, I can't, I'm committed to field hockey, right? So the lacrosse coach at the time heard that I wanted to play a spring sport. So she recruited me for lacrosse, tried out for the team, and made it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, so what made you decide that you wanted to coach for high school?
I just love athletics and I love sharing my passion for sports. I think, I've seen it grow through the years where they didn't have opportunities for female athletes to now where, there's so many different opportunities that you guys could join teams and leagues. And I just get that feeling in my heart, like if I do a good play or, cheer on a teammate, it's just like so great that that high that you get playing sports. And I like to share that with the younger generation and empower women and get that same feeling that, guess what? You can do anything.
Right. And so as an art teacher, how do you view, and a coach, how do you view the relationship between academics and athletics?
Wow. And to be honest with you, the correlation is very similar. If you are a really good student at school, you're going to be really good at athletics as well. Dedication is the most important. So, student athletes that show up to school every day, do their homework every day, they're going to be successful in school. Same thing on the field. Show up to practice every day, show up to every game, you're dedicated, you're going to be an excellent athlete. So the student athletes that, like I said, have the dedication and show up are going to be successful. And then, the opposite, the kids that miss practice or, miss school, you're not going to be successful.
And so what would you say separates you from the average coach?
I've got this thing called wisdom for coaching for 22 years. I've been doing it a very long time. And not a lot of people know the sport of field hockey and lacrosse. It's not a popular sport. I still play field hockey, so I know all the rules. I know all the, upcoming athletes that are in my age group, which is called the Masters. To play with or women that are on the U.S. team, brings my level up, pushes me to be a better player, pushes me to be a better coach. So I think my years of experience help. I've learned a lot, what works well with the team, what doesn't work well with the team. And every team is different. So some years, I can push some teams a little bit harder and expect more from them. And other years I have to, take it a step down and be like, hey, this kid never played before. So we have to start from here and besides from there. So, it's a engagement level where you kind of know as a coach what you can do and what you can't do. And then you want to always push that top athlete and motivate them to continue to play in college.
Right. And so what would you say is your top strength and your top weakness as a coach?
I have good communication with my athletes. I'm always checking in, if there's something going on with them in their personal life. I'm always there for them, always, asking and just being there and just knowing what's going on at home as well is a big factor on maybe that athlete's having a bad practice. Well, there's a reason why. So you just have to communicate. So I think communication, the caring factor, I go home at night and I still care about my athletes. Like the coaching whistle never gets hung up. It's always there. All year long, you guys, I'm in contact with you guys, motivating you to get out there and play. And, if I'm sending you pictures from the top of a mountain, like, come on, let's do it. Communication, I think, is a very great skill that I have with my athletes and trying to inspire them to play all year long. Let's see, weaknesses as a coach. Ooh, let's see. Well, I struggle, and as an athlete, we struggle with the fields, facilities at school. So as a coach, my weakness is that, for field hockey, we have a grass field. All the teams around us most likely have turf fields, much faster. The skills are different. You can do a lot more on turf as opposed to grass. So as a coach, I lack that. I can't teach turf skills because I don't have the turf to teach it. Same goes for lacrosse. We don't have a real full field practice field that we can have every single day. Some days we're, crammed in a little area like this. So our stick skills are good, but when it comes to full field transition, we lack a little bit because, we can't practice it every day. So that's my weakness as a coach, is that I don't have the facilities to do the skills and do the activities that I want to do with the team.
And so what are your off-season expectations for both of your teams?
Well, as an athlete, my expectations. And I always say it, and I try to always, motivate you girls or anyone, any athlete. Never put your stick down, all right? Or any sport, whether it's a baseball mitt, a baseball bat, football, never put it down. Don't let it collect dust. You guys know that I play all year round. So just keep playing. Even if it's you go outside with your dad and you throw around for a little bit, but still you're getting that skill in. You keep that motivation going.
And so obviously there's always like the not so pretty side to being a part of a team, and some parents get involved. How do you handle when a parent is concerned about a child's playing time?
Well, dealing with parents and playing time is a conversation that we have, not during a game or not during a practice. I would, set time aside to talk to a parent about that. I would be prepared and have a list of skills that player needs to improve on. So that way I have my backup ready to say, hey, if your, daughter can do all these skills, then they're going to see more playing time. So it's just explaining to the parent why, and again, there it goes with communication, why the athlete isn't seeing playing time, because the parents aren't there at practice. And sometimes the parents don't know the rules or know, the game of field hockey or lacrosse. So they don't know what goes into it.
100% agree. So what's your core value as a coach overall?
Core values, 3 simple words: teamwork, dedication, and desire. That's all you need. It sounds simple, but you work together, you're dedicated, you're there every day, desire, you're trying hard every day, then that's it. You're going to be successful on the field and in life.
Yep, I've heard that a lot.
Yeah.
And so if aside from being named Passaic Valley Coach of the Year, what would you say is your biggest accomplishment as coach?
Back in 2008 at Passaic Valley, there was no girls lacrosse team. So what did I do? I got a group of girls that were athletes that were on field hockey. I said, hey, you want to try this stick instead? Got them motivated, got them excited, got their friends to come out, got some sticks, started throwing around. So we had a club team 1 year. That was actually in 2007. And then 2008, we had a JV team. And then in 2009, we formed to a varsity team. So I would say my biggest accomplishment would be that I created the Passaic Valley girls lacrosse team.
Definitely. Very thankful for that one.
Yeah.
So what was your reaction to being named Passaic Valley Coach of the Year?
It was a big honor to be named that, because it's voted by the coaches in the league. So it's not just like, oh, this is your award, like it's randomly given to you. And to be voted coach of the year by my peers, like I said, they can see how hard I try on the field, coaching with you girls, how I always stayed positive this season. We had a little difficulty this season, but no matter what, I didn't, blow my gasket and yell at you guys. We just, I talked to you after the game calmly, told you guys what you can improve on. And I never gave up. I was there at every practice. I was there at every game, always came up with new fun activities, kept, explaining it in different ways. And coaches know that because we talk amongst each other. We're like, hey, what are you doing at practice? How can you get them to do a give and go and, move the defense? So they know that I'm always thinking field hockey, that I'm always trying to improve my players. And with Sydney Cummings, I actually, the coach from Pompton Lakes, her best friend is the coach at Trenton State at the College of New Jersey. So I put in a good word for her as well. So the coaches know that I really care about the athletes and I want them to excel and continue to play in the game of field hockey. So it was great. It was a great honor to receive.
I think it takes a very strong person, what you did this season. Like, you really kept your head up and definitely taught us well, especially as a teammate. I mean, I definitely know that even if it was a rough season, I think the other coaches definitely saw that it was we're very positive, and we had a very good, if it wasn't the numbers weren't the best, we definitely had a really good time.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You have to adjust and you have to, let's have fun. What's the whole point of playing sports? To have fun, to make friends, I'm friends with my college mates from, 20 years ago. We're besties. It's more than just winning or losing. It's making friends and, learning to be a stand-up person in life.
Right. And then, of course, the pandemic affected all of us and affected the season. What do you think? Can you just elaborate a little bit on how your coaching life has changed with the pandemic?
Oh, the pandemic. Well, it's still going on currently, but pandemic is very difficult time. I'm a very empathetic person, so when I hear a family member is sick, or I hear that a student or an athlete that their family members are sick, it hits hard on my heart. So it's like you take all of that in, and you just want the best for everyone. You don't want them to be sick. You don't want them to be struggling. You don't want that fear, like, I'm going to get this virus and die, right? So that's the whole point. So just kind of dealing with trying to keep the outside sadness and depression and anxiety away from stepping onto that field. You would just have to leave it on the side and then step onto that field and say, okay, deep breath. All right, we're coaching, coach mode. Let's have some fun. And it was hard at times, because a lot of family members were sick and struggling and still are. So that was the biggest challenge, was trying to motivate myself to not think about all the sadness and depression and anxiety that everyone was going through, because being a caring person, you always carry that around with you, but like I said, every time you step onto that field, all right, game time. Let's release that stress and anxiety and have some fun, right?
I agree, definitely. I think being on a team and even being a coach gives you, it's that sense of normalcy still when you get to see people and interact, obviously being a team. So there's still that connection. It's like, I'm thankful still to have it. And because when lacrosse was taken away last year, back in March, it was just like, you really had no one at that point.
Yeah, it was devastating.
Right. So having a team is definitely a really good thing to be able to talk to and everything. And so lastly, what are you looking forward to accomplishing in the future?
Hopefully one day the heavens will come down and give us a beautiful turf field and a practice area that we can play on. I was never coached to shoot for, winning a state championship or anything like that. I'm always about improvement, taking a kid that never played the sport before putting a stick in their hand, teaching them those skills. And then, my biggest accomplishment is having those kids play in college, because that shows I introduced them to that sport, gave them a passion, gave them a love, and they're going to carry through with the rest of their life. So I just always look forward to athletes continuing their career. So that's what I love and look forward to.
That's definitely a really good feeling as a coach. Well, that wraps up all my questions I have. Thank you for coming and speaking to me. And congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.